Hi guys. Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to CLAT 2026, the final revision series. We are in the month of November and we've got a lot of work to do. So for everyone who's here, can you give me a quick yes or no if you can see me and hear me? So am I visible? Am I audible? Can you quickly give me a yes or no? Also, guys, if you are here, then can you quickly like the session? Please like it. Please share it, of course. And also remember to hit the subscribe button because that will allow you to chat with us. So if you wish to chat, you wish to be part of the conversation, be part of the questions, answers, discussion, then welcome to our session. Hi Priyanshi, hi Adoksh, hi Kushagr. Good evening, you guys. How are you all doing? I hope everyone's doing well. Shall we get started? Today again, I've got two passages for you. Nice ones. So I feel you will enjoy them. I mean, of course, enjoy in the sense that you're going to be doing some nice RCs. So let's start. Okay, so here's passage one. Zoran Mamdani, of course, very hot news right now. It's a very interesting passage for all of us. Hi, Chandralekha. Good evening. Chalo, let's read. So the enduring lesson of Zoran Mamdani, enduring means the lesson that'll stay, is that moderate center is invariably the respectable front for right-wing prejudice. Ooh, prejudice, of course, is bias. New York's mayoral race was clarifying for people everywhere because it staged a series of stark oppositions. So there are some major visible oppositions. Idealism versus experience, billionaires versus the rest, Zionist entitlement versus the ravaging of Gaza, an empathetic pluralism versus anti Muslim bigotry, Andrew Cuomo's conspicuous indifference to his constituents versus Mamdani's exuberant bid to hug all of New York, a once in a generation political talent against a puckered up dynast, a manifesto for working people versus a defense of the unaffordable status quo. The vividness of vertical video versus the gatekeepers of legacy media, and fingers crossed hope versus knowing cynicism. My God, what a beautiful description of the oppositions. The contrast between Mamdani and Como was heightened by how they look. This is good versus bad, with the main protagonist picked by central casting. There was nothing subtle about the difference. Como didn't speak, he droned on. He was lethargic. He ran on his resume, which included sending seniors to their death during the pandemics and multiple allegations of sexual harassment. He seemed to treat the mayoral race as a personal bid for redemption. He embodied machine politics in a big city. Mamdani was unfairly, luminously young, and he was everywhere, sodden in the Atlantic by halal carts and gay bars with cab drivers, dancing with aunties, rehearsing his pitch in Bengali, Arabic, Hindi, Spanish, smiling, suited, relentlessly on message. You could dismiss his plan as utopian or impractical, but it was impossible for the disinterested spectator to discern malice. Nobody could understand that there was hatred in there. And yet, the voices of the liberal center, the political moderates, the centrist moguls, the pundits, the newspapers, and the magazines who own the liberal discourse responded to Mamdani's candidacy in a way that was indistinguishable from Donald Trump's denunciation or the anti defamation league slanders. The two Democratic senators from New York refused to endorse him, Chuck Schumer. The senior senator is still coy about who he voted for. The Democratic governor of New York reluctantly endorsed Mamdani well after he won the primary. And Barack Obama, mindful of his aura, didn't endorse him, but it let it be known late in the day that he had called Mamdani. Very interesting. Nobody wanted to, support him. America's newspaper of record, the New York Times, that arbiter of liberal values, went to remarkable lengths to urge its Democratic readers to exclude Mamdani from the five candidates they could rank in their primary ballots. Wow. Anyone but Mamdani was the message from the newspaper's editorial board. Having previously decided not to endorse a candidate, the board produced a tortuous non-endorsement. We do not believe it alone that Mr. Mamdani deserves a spot on New Yorkers' ballots. And then it told voters to hold their nose and vote for Cuomo. As for Mr. Cuomo, we have serious objection to his ethics and conduct. even if he would be better for New York's future than Mr. Mamdani. There was no difference between the New York Times position on Mamdani and Cuomo and that of Bill Ackman, the fanatically Zionist billionaire who, along with other billionaires like Michael Bloomberg, donated millions to Cuomo's campaign. And the main reason for this, explicit in the case of Bill Ackman, but unmentioned in the New York Times editorial, was Mamdani's steadfast condemnation of Israel's genocide in Gaza and the atrocities of its apartheid state. Whoa, that's a very interesting article, you guys. All right, here's your questions. Which of the following can be most reasonably inferred from the passage about the author's view of the liberal center? Okay, so I'm going to wait your answer. It masks prejudice behind a facade of balance and civility. It strives sincerely to reconcile opposing political forces. It protects democracy through moderation and restraint. It supports reform only when it serves elite convenience. Let's get your answers in. Come on, guys, your answers. Okay, Priyanshi says A is the correct answer. Anyone else? Yes. See, the passage was very clear that the liberal center is not liberal. They're actually prejudiced and they did not want to vote for Mamdani, right? So it masks prejudice behind a facade of balance and civility will be the correct answer. It strives sincerely to reconcile opposing political forces was incorrect. It protects democracy through moderation, but the passage didn't say that. It supports reforms only when it serves elite convenience. Again, that was not mentioned in the passage. At least the elite convenience was not. All right. What is the author's tone in the passage? Is it detached and analytical, assessing politics through neutral observation? Is it optimistic and celebratory, admiring the promise of reform? Is it scathing and accusatory, condemning hypocrisy in liberal politics? Is it reflective and nostalgic, lamenting the decline of civility? What is the tone of the author? Yes, very good, Kushagra, Chandralekha, Adoksh, and of course, Priyanshi had given me the answer. Question number 2, Priyanshi says A is the correct answer. Let's get other people to answer. The author's tone in this passage was very beautifully put out, right? He is trying to take sides, right? Sounds detached and analytical. Kushagra says A. Everybody says A. Well, okay. Assessing politics through neutral observation. Was the author neutral here? What was his opinion about people who were supporting Mamdani or who were opposing Mamdani? He very clearly said that the centrists were not fair, they were prejudiced. So, therefore, can I say he was detached if I'm calling the centrist prejudiced? No. Was I optimistic and celebratory? No. He was scathing and accusatory. He condemns hypocrisy in liberal politics. He has condemned it, right? He says that here is New York Times, here is Zionist billionaire Bill Ackman, here is, all of New York, which is being so hypocritical. The premise of the passage was its, inherent hypocrisy, not reflective and nostalgic. So the best answer here should be option number C. Yeah, it is extreme, but isn't the passage extreme also? No, it's not celebratory. The tone of the passage, he's not celebrating. He's not happy about the victory of Mamdani. He's saying that Mamdani has been made the target of so many people just because he's a certain way. And these are people who are important. These are people who are actually moderates. So if they are such moderates, then why are they being so prejudiced? That's the problem. Okay. All right, question number 3. What can be most reasonably be inferred from the passage? The media's neutrality ensures balance between competing political voices. Liberal institutions often defend privilege when claiming moral superiority. Mamdani's campaign relied mainly on symbolic gestures and rhetoric. Centrist leaders oppose extremism through consistent moral conviction. Yeah, he was accusing them, It was not nothing to that. He was very clearly accusing them and saying that, okay, here are people who've got issues. Here are people who are not as fair as they should be. All right, question number 3. Mamdani's campaign relied mainly on symbolic gestures and rhetoric. Was it just symbolic and rhetoric? Media's neutrality, it was not talking about media's neutrality. Okay, so I'm totally eliminating option A. And centrist leaders oppose extremism through consistent, again I'm eliminating, there was no moral conviction that was mentioned in the passage. So it's only choice B and C, and I felt that B was a good choice. Why? Because they defend privilege while claiming moral superiority. So they are trying to protect the rich protect the rich. So all of them voted for Cuomo. They supported Cuomo. Even Obama, even New York Times supported Cuomo. Right? So they are saying that, oh, they're morally superior, they're very unbiased, and yet they go ahead and support Cuomo, or they go ahead and denigrate Mamdani. So therefore, B is a very good choice of answer for us. Let's look at the next question. Which of the following best expresses the central theme? The liberal center conceals prejudice beneath a mask of respectability. Political moderation is essential for maintaining democratic coexistence. Media neutrality strengthens fairness. In modern representative politics, or electoral success depends mainly on charisma and public engagement. All right, let's look at this question, everyone. Quite a lovely passage and very interesting questions, huh? Yes, Chandralekha, Priyanshi, Kushagra. I think yes, A should be the correct answer. That the liberal center conceals prejudice beneath a mask of respectability. And that is what that very first line of the passage said. Okay. So therefore, you should have gotten your answer from there. All right. What best matches Andrew Cuomo's campaign image as presented in the passage? Energetic and empathetic, idealist and reformist, detached and strategic, or lethargic and entitled? How does Cuomo appear to the author? Question number 5. Yes, Priyanshi. Yes, Adoksh. All right, very good. Yes, that D should be the correct answer. Absolutely. I think D should be the correct answer. Somewhere in the passage, it's also mentioned that, right? All right. Question 6. Which factor primarily caused elite opposition to Zohran Memdani? His lack of experience, his open condemnation of Israel's actions and Gaza's devastation, his over reliance on youth activism and media symbolism, his inability to gain support from local democratic leaders. So, again, this was mentioned very clearly in the passage. Yes, Priyanshi. Yes, Chandralekha, very good. Yes, you guys are absolutely right that his open condemnation of Israel's action and Gaza's devastation is the thing that caused elite opposition. There's that Zionist billionaire that we have spoken about, right? All right, let's go to the next passage. This is passage 2. I'm going to give you a minute to read and then we will discuss it. Okay? So are we truly empathizing or merely displaying empathy? Digital empathy operates at the intersection of visibility and validation. It thrives on immediacy rather than reflection, substituting presence with participation. The logic of platform, brevity, speed, and virality fosters reactions over understanding. Outrage, people get angry, emotion is consumable. But ironically, it shrinks the moral imagination. It reduces human suffering to just a scroll. So each crisis has, wants attention, and then compassion is replaced by indifference, because how many times are you going to bother? So, technology's defenders say that digital empathy expands moral reach. Crowdfunding, online petition, real time activism can mobilize unprecedented solidarity. Movements such as Me Too, Black Lives Matter demonstrated how personal stories could fuel structural changes. And yet, these examples also reveal the paradox of scale. So, as empathy grows broader, it becomes thinner. The act of caring is out. So, you just care by clicking and retweeting. You don't really sacrifice anything. So, where the gesture of awareness replaces the work of understanding. So, you're not really being understanding, you're just making those gestures. What a lovely passage. At the core of this dilemma, there's a confusion between empathy as performance and empathy as practice. So, am I just showing empathy or am I really empathetic? Performance seeks affirmation, practice requires transformation. So, you have to change. True empathy is slow, uncomfortable, sustained. It invites you to inhabit others' reality, not just acknowledge it. The digital environment is built on the economy of attention. It rarely tolerates such slowness. It rewards immediacy. So, immediately you do something. Thus, the very tools that connect us also fragment our capacity to feel deeply. So, you don't really feel deeply. The challenge then is not to reject digital empathy, but to reclaim its depth. To feel responsibly in a digital age demands more than expression. It requires endurance, the willingness to keep caring even after the feed has moved. If technology redefined compassion, the moral task is to humanize it, make it humane. That's the key. All right. What's the central argument of the passage? It is a lovely passage, Kushagra, but that's the reality of life, no? So technology weakens human connection by replacing empathy with efficiency. Online expression allows emotions to reach audiences without distortion. Digital empathy transforms compassion into performance and moral display. Virtual spaces preserve sincerity by amplifying collective human emotion. Okay, so which of these is the central argument? All right, very good. Correct answer will be option number C, that digital empathy is changing compassion into display. And that's what he has said. Okay, what can reasonably be inferred about author's view of social media activism? What does the author say? It deepens empathy by exposing users to constant global suffering. No, it doesn't deepen empathy. It ensures emotional stability through structured digital engagement. Again, it doesn't. It prevents, but it increases compassion fatigue, right? It encourages superficial care that rarely leads to genuine change. That should be your answer. Option number D. Correct. All right. What is the tone of the passage? Is it analytical and reflective, detached and neutral, celebratory and hopeful, nostalgic and sentimental? Okay, Priyanshi has given me an answer. Kushag, hi Hari. Long time, huh? All right. Yes, the correct answer should be analytical and reflective. It is questioning the sincerity in online compassion. So, correct. Okay, which quality defines true empathy? What is true empathy? Sustained understanding that demands moral effort and patience, rapid awareness that ensures immediate collective participation, emotional expression that is visible through social media sharing, or quick identification that connects users through instant feedback. What defines true empathy? This is a very beautiful passage, very beautiful questions. Yes, sustained understanding. And that was the premise of this passage, right? All right. Which statement would the author most likely agree with? Emotional restraint improves empathy by promoting rational reflection. Social media helps sustain moral awareness through curated narratives. Instant reactions encourage emotional depth and moral consistency. True empathy requires time, attention, and personal transformation. Which of these is correct? Which of these is the author going to agree with? Yes, true empathy requires time, attention, and personal transformation. That is what he is talking about. All right, moral outsourcing most nearly means what? Delegating moral responsibility through symbolic digital gestures, sharing ethical duties collectively across digital global networks, expanding human empathy through algorithmic emotional awareness, transferring emotional reactions into measurable technological data. What is this sharing of morality all about? Yes, very good, you guys. Six, the correct answer is A. All right. So, what is your score? How many questions out of the 12 that we did today did you get right? Yes, yes, Kushagra. Why are you doubtful of your answer? Absolutely. Six, the correct answer is A. Very good, Priyanshi. Others, Kushagra, Hari, Chandralekha. How many questions did you get right? Okay, very nice, Priyanshi. Very nice, Chandralekha. Almost all Kushagra. Very good. Excellent. Okay, nine. Very nice. Excellent. All right, let's quickly do this. Okay, so the answers are here. Of course, your fast track batch is already here, guys. The CAT 2026 sprint with Siddharth, Manoj, and Priyanka, ma'am. Five concept classes, batch has already started. The CLAT 26 sprint online classes, where you're preparing for CLAT 26 in just 4 months. Five high impact classes, daily GK power hour, and 44 full length mocks are on, guys. The CLAT test series for CLAT 2026, which is closest to the actual exam pattern, featured 48 All India mocks, video solutions of select mocks, and in depth performance analysis, for which you can enroll. For inquiries 8130038836. All right, if you have any questions, guys, can we get some poem passages? Okay, yeah, why not? We'll do that. Absolutely. Anything else you want me to do? I'll do it. Tell me. We can do a couple of poems. I love them. All right, guys, that brings me to the end. Remember to hit like, share, and subscribe. I hope everybody has hit the like button and also shared. Okay, poetic devices. I will try. Poem, I'm definitely promising for next week. And if I do have the time, I will do figures of speech also. Okay? All right, guys. Thank you so much. Remember to hit like, share, and subscribe. And do come back next week. The session, of course, as always, is today's Thursday, right? We are on at Thursday, 5:30 p.m. See you then. Yep. Bye bye.